board.
Oh, this is not looking good for Albert.
All right, so
Sorry, Albert.
So you just got a nat 1 on your first ability score.
I got a 1, 9, 15, 7, 8, and 3.
You are going to be... You are the Rain Man, essentially.
Yeah, I'm going to put a 15 in intelligence, a 1 in constitution, and everything else is going to be very sad.
Okay. And
3 strength.
What class do you think about playing?
Oh, I'm a ranger, apparently.
Why do you say apparently? I mean, you are in control of what you play.
Oh, I was making it before, and that's what I chose before I even had the character concept in mind.
So, I've got a little bit of a problem here, guys.
What did you do? What happened?
I have a 4, a 5, a 5, a 14, a 3, and an 18. I only have 2 stats above 10.
Perfect.
I only have 1.
All right, here we go. Nice.
Now Penny is looking pretty good with her standard array.
Alrighty. Oh wait, we could choose. I thought we were all rolling. All good. I'm taking it. Let's roll.
Okay. I did this once, and the person rolled 3 20s and an 18. He was a barbarian, and it was just like, all right, I can't make anything that will challenge you. Just have fun murdering.
This is not gonna be good. Let's see.
Playing
with an attitude like that.
Yeah, right?
All about perspective.
Exactly.
Filling up.
And this will just make.
We'll see when I shoot you all in the foot.
This will make.
We'll see.
This will make roleplay even more valuable. So what I like to do is, with DC checks and stuff like that, I'll have a value in mind when we first start engaging. Like, let's say you come across you want to fence something. You have some milk you stole because you're a sticky little Khajiit, and you've just happened to come across this milk. You go to the fence, and I would have a DC in mind. Like, let's say the milk has blood on it because you found it that way. So that would set the DC at 20. And as you speak to the NPC and you make convincing arguments, I lower the DC. So the better you can roleplay into it, and the more convincing you can be, or threatening, or deceptive, that will be lowering the DC proportionately. And then if somebody can come up with a reason to help you, or how they're going to help you, then I'll give you advantage on that. And that's kind of the general rules that I use with difficulty skill checks.
Like that. Nice.
Thanks. How you feeling about this, Penny?
I'm feeling really excited.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to find her character voice.
Okay.
Haven't actually given much thought to that.
Oh, I was thinking about your backstory and how you could wind up with these two ruffians.
Wonderful.
So, given the information from your backstory, I was thinking, and feel free to change any of this. This is me suggesting stuff to you. You don't have to take any stuff pertaining to your character. Your parents being of the more charlatan and performative situation or persuasion, and working out of Keshkura, have in fact your whole family is kind of ran aground when they did their act to a very narcissistic and insecure nobleman, and when he found out that he was tricked, he turned his wrath on your family, and the end result, I'm not too sure how this all worked out, but your parents are somewhere safe that you know, that he is holding them, and he offered you a deal to go spy on White Sands, and if you can get him the information he's looking for, then he'll let your family go.
That's good. That's a different direction. The only edit that I would put there would be maybe that he didn't find out he had been tricked, because kind of a lot of her personality and everything is the idea that they have a really good reputation, and the superstitious fully believe them. So instead, maybe trying to change the prophecy, so to speak. Like he's...
I'm on the same page as you, and what I was thinking is somebody sold your family out.
Ooh, that would be cool.
And that's the that's what you're really looking for is you want to find out who betrayed you. So you're like playing along with this game.
That would be good.
Yeah, and you're not too worried about your parents because they've been in this situation before, and they've always managed to like escape or bribe the right person or pull in a favor. So they are in a dangerous spot, but it's kind of normal.
It's not life or death right now.
Yeah, it's kind of normal for them. But being betrayed like you have been, that's not normal. And you don't know who sowed those bad seeds.
Yeah, I like that. I like that it plays into that kind of final closing thought that I put at the end of her backstory, is that government and organizations are invariably corrupt in her mind. She's just now discovering that people on an individual level can be like corrupt, but in petty ways, like really selfish and not making good decisions, even though it's not necessarily like, kind of her mindset is the larger the group of people, the more power hungry, and so the more people are willing to do wrong and misuse their power, things like that. But she doesn't think of everyday people as necessarily being bad, and so she's just now realized that people will do just about anything. She's just like, what is this?
So is she going through a bit of a crisis of faith, like going from believing that an individual is invariably good, but even if in a group they are bad, but now she has fallen into this trap of thinking that, you know, everybody is kind of shitty?
It's not necessarily a crisis of faith, because she serves Saloon.
I don't mean like in God, but I mean faith in her fellow.
Yeah, faith in humanity and humanoids. I suppose. Kind of grown-up world, necessarily what she always mystically believed, especially being context burned by a person who ratted out her whole reason.
I don't even know why. And I think it really hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
Too. I don't even know why.
Yeah.
So okay.
Like that.
How old is she?
Nice steps. I was thinking about 18. Well, okay. I'm not sure about age rate, but human equivalent.
Yeah, the human equivalent
would be 18 to 20, somewhere. She's young, like leaving home first time type thing. Is just like, don't know how to adult, you know.
So she would have been on the road for about 3 months before she got out. Okay. Would she have traveled with
a cat?
Yes, that is an excellent point.
Doesn't like water.
Yes. So there are two main thoroughfares. One, a quick, dangerous trek through the desert that is filled with giant sandworms that are as large. Occasionally they rise up under caravan and swallow them whole. The other is a arduous journey along the southern plateaus that tests one's endurance physically. The big threat is running out of supplies, and there's no game or water to speak of. Which one would she have done?
She would have taken the long and arduous journey because her father taught her never to take unnecessary risks, and she believes that she has the wits necessary to survive.
Okay. along the way, one of the caravanners, an older fellow, was overcome by the environment and passed away. How would she have reacted to that?
She would have accepted it pretty calmly, respectfully, because of her druidic beliefs and everything, but she believes it's like the circle of life. And
would she have presided over the burial? Would she have
probably yes.
stepped forward? Okay.
Because she can always be counted on to say the right thing at the right time, whether that's for good or otherwise. And so she would come up with a very heart-touching kind of little speech that both glossed over and never actually pinned down. One of the really slippery speeches that are given sometimes at funerals, where you kind of get the feeling they can't be too specific because this person wasn't necessarily very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps they didn't know this person personally, and so they can't really speak to who they were, and so they just say a bunch of really nice kind of comforting things, and then it's over. Yes, okay. Yeah. Just something to placate the grieving.
Okay. There's a core of necessity in kind of being reserved.
Be right back.
Okay. When she gets toward over the mountains, the largest settlement or town she's ever seen, Harshaw. It's a vibrant trading town. She quickly finds herself overwhelmed by the scope of it, the amount of people and livestock moving through it. But in that process, she sees a 12-year-old boy, looks poor and ratty. It looks like he got hit by a wagon, or his ankle is hurt, or something is like that. He's trying to limp to safety to a side alley. What would she have done?
She probably would have watched him for a moment just to see if he was telling the truth type thing, if it was kind of a scam, knowing how scams are sometimes run, especially in larger populations.
So,
and then she would probably go over and help him.
Okay. So after speaking to him,
if it was,
you would realize it's a scam, that he is faking his injury, but you don't know why.
Then she would probably pull out a bottle of medicine, because she has some of those, a couple of vials of just colored liquid, and that it will heal him, hand it to him, and then walk away quickly.
Okay, so as you're walking away, you saw two much older, stronger boys, one hopefully hiding a cudgel behind his back, and you realize that they were probably going to bonk you on the back of the head and take all your money. But now that their scheme was seen through, they are steering clear, wanting to only prey on the most naive. Okay, so following up your previously discussed backstory, you have the option to sign on with HAPD, which is Harshaw's Association of Practicing Detectives, to begin backtracking the web of informants that will eventually lead you to the one who betrayed you or your family. Or you can go on as a private citizen and go to the railhead and start figuring out from there. So
she would definitely join up.
Okay.
Definitely.
You have the
option. Because she would think that even if she doesn't necessarily trust them, she has very good alibi and she can come up with good stories, things like that, so that she doesn't necessarily have to get close and personal with anyone she's working with, but she sees that there is advantage in numbers for survival.
Okay. And you have the option of starting with a mount. It can There's a bunch. If you choose, would you be taking one?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
He
They
would-
range in rideable goats, boars, allosauruses, axe beaks, which are like giant ostriches, giant lizards, hyenas, and horses, and skeletal horses.
She would probably just choose a horse.
Okay.
Even though the rest of those are super cool. And Olivia, personally, I would choose something different, but no. she would just choose a horse, yeah.
Cool. So after 3 days of travel south of Harshaw, you find yourself at the railhead. You've been following the tracks of another group of people. You realize it's a giant lizard you've been tracking, and it seems to be carrying two riders. One a little bit lighter than the other. You're
A lot lighter.
A lot lighter. You're on the cusp of seeing them, and that's where we'll start. But right now, let's try this improv stuff. So that was
Wonderful.
Okay.
that was 3 months of backstory we just made for your character. So that was good.
Great.
All right, go ahead, take it away. You can lead us in the improv stuff.
Okay. So I was thinking a lot of improv games are good like in person, but one that would be really good over video and audio would be 5 Things. Have any of you ever played that?
Probably.
I
That sounds
have
neat.
not.
It sounds familiar.
It's very simple. You know, you just say to the person who's next, and we can just like go down the list alphabetically here. You know, name, just off the top of your head, name 5 kinds of dragon breath, and then the other person has to be like, acid, smelly, exhaust fume, potato. It doesn't matter what you say, but the point is just to engage your brain and to make you spontaneous.
Is this improv
Sound good?
warm-up, or is this improv on the stage kind of thing?
This is improv warm-up.
Okay. All right. So let me grab a token, and I think I'll just be a raccoon.
Oh, should we do this in character?
Yeah. So we're practicing
Okay.
improv, and we're practicing our character voices too.
Excellent.
Might
I love a
cycle
challenge.
couple.
Okay. So I guess our characters would be. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I might cycle through a couple just to forewarn you till I
No,
find.
this is what it's for. This
Right.
is for
Okay, good.
experimentation, and yeah.
Excellent.
Name 5 character voices.
Who is supposed
We have
to?
not selected an order. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
no.
what we're gonna
It's,
do is,
it's a joke. Okay.
here. What we're gonna do for the order is we're gonna
I was
actually
ready.
use some of the tools, and we're gonna roll initiative for
What?
order.
Tools.
Yeah.
Oh, and thankfully we also have orange timer in as well.
Yes. Orange timer is the amount of rounds it'll update as we go through it.
Oh my goodness.
So what is your character's name? Olivia?
Nyx.
Nyx.
Nyx Nightclaw.
Okay.
Ooh.
I will NYX nameplate and show that to everybody. So go ahead and name 5 things, Nyx.
What is the category?
Well, you have to say the
What is
category.
category?
Oh, the category. Am I picking
So
the category?
The category.
see, I'm
Cats.
well, I'm so
Category is
she's
cats.
after me, so I'm the one who has to.
Cat.
Okay, name 5 cats.
There's Tabby, Tortoiseshell, Gray,
Three.
White.
4. It doesn't
the
have to be
Maine
real.
Coon. That's an actual breed.
5. That's 5 kinds of cats.
Is indeed.
Okay.
And now you have to ask. You have to give a category to Edgar.
Okay.
I mean, now you have to give a category to Edgar.
Edgar, could you name 5 sodas?
Sodas, let's think. Sprite, Pepsi, Coke. Oh, shoot, what a Mountain Dew. And I guess, Diet Mountain Dew. Is that 5 or is that 4? Let's also go with grape. Grape soda's always good.
Sodas.
Let's see. So I guess your turn. Let's go with 5 types of dinosaur.
Allosaurus, Plesiosaurus, Pterodactyl, Velociraptor, and Ankylosaurus.
That's dinosaurs.
Yay!
A paleontologist among us.
I got excited. You said dinosaurs.
You're ruining everything.
What is your name?
Bro, you sound different today. Albert.
Well,
Albert Schnooks.
And there.
What are my categories, Raul?
Let's go with garbage.
Nice.
These are 5 kinds of garbage. Banana peels, my discarded toenails, pickles, the inside of another bag that you ripped because you were drying it out, but you accidentally ripped that one, so you have to put it in the other one and just throw it out. And my life.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I would have accepted network news as well, but that'll do.
Thank you. Nix.
Pig, that'll do.
Name 5 different ways to storm a bar.
Well, you could always go and just kick down the door, or you could set some dynamite there and explode that later. You could also get a posse of friends together and charge in with guns. You better have guns. Let's see, 2 more. You just walk in and start a conga line. That's a pretty good way to go. Not sure. Hold on.
Don't think about it. Just say whatever pops in your head.
Start a hobby horse race.
There. That's 5 ways to storm a bar.
Yeah, I never thought of a hobby horse race. That's a great idea.
I don't know where that came from.
What you say doesn't need to make sense. It just has to come out.
That's right. All right. So then, who is this lovely personage to whom I am addressing?
That'd be me, Edgar.
All right. So let's see. Edgar, I want you to name me 5 different species of bird.
Bird.
Cat and I love
Well, you
birds.
got ones with wings. There are some that can't fly. The ones that bury their head in the sand? The ostrich. That's right, ostrich. So I'm gonna count that as 3. We'll do 2 more. We've got the ones that have the big long bills like ducks, and then let's take a look at roosters. They are birds, and they are terrifying. But I think that's 5.
You know, an Arakoka picked me up and dropped me from like 200 feet. It really hurt.
Terrifying.
But not
Absolutely terrifying.
Always with the Arakokras.
Yeah.
Always with the Arakokras with you.
Well, I was pretty angry at the time, so it was okay.
So I guess this might damper the mood a little bit, but kind of what you were talking about. 5 worst ways to go.
Let me think. Starving because there's not enough trash. Dying of the elements because I got no trash to make a home out of. Not being able to get married because I got no trash, and none of the girls would like me. And then smelling like that cat lady over there, not like trash. She doesn't smell like trash, and I couldn't abide by that.
Respectable.
I think the word that you are looking for is vanilla.
Yeah, smelling like vanilla. Ugh. It's like, give me a rotten pineapple any day and I'll be good. I guess there's pineapples in this world now. Okay.
Only rotten ones.
Alright, so 5 things. What are 5 buttons?
The flannel, the big red kind, the one that's right underneath my desk right now, an octopus, but a button, so it has legs coming out, and a giant, big old button in the sky that'll fall down once we press it and destroy the entire world.
Oh gods, that sounds horrible. Killed by buttons.
That's beautiful.
Tell me more about your religion, sir.
That is my religion. I pray to the button. Praise be. All right, let's do this one more time. Nix, name me 5 grandmas. 5 grandmas.
5 different kinds of grandma. Well, there's the kind that's real nice, and she makes you cookies, and she checks to see if you're okay. And then there's the real mean kind that blames you for her sister's death because you all were born on the same day that her sister died, so somehow that's your fault. And then there's also the kind that are just kind of disinterested. And then there's the fun grandmas that they drink and they smoke, and they're just like, you know, if you want to do that, you can do it at my house because I'd rather you do it here and out and about, you know. And then, of course, there's the 5th kind of grandma, and that is dead.
I had 4
Good.
grandmas.
Those are 5 grandmas.
You got a lot of grandmas, miss.
I only have 2 of those.
Oh. He's
The rest are dead.
He's like counting his fingers, trying to figure out which ones they are. He's fairly confused, raccoon, right now.
All right, so then, Mr. Albert, I suppose I'll ask you to name me 5 different modes of transportation for crossing the Great Desert.
I believe it is my turn, correct? Okay.
He's Edgar. I'm Albert.
Yeah. You got a little switch there, but that's fine.
Sorry.
Crossing the desert. Well, personally, big fan of lizards. Love riding those boys. A lot of similarities, them and I, with the whole flesh issues. Let's see. Wagons. You got wagons. Most 4, some 3. I've been on a 2-wheel one. What else? Horses. Horses are always good. Sometimes, if you got enough, coin to pull together, you can get catapulted across the desert. I've seen it happen. Doesn't end too well. And I guess for the 5th one, let us go with being carried on a palanquin. If you got some status. And Rahul, let's see. What are your 5 times of day?
Oh wow, that's easy. There's the eating time, and then there's the eating time, and then there's the bathroom time, and then there's the eating time, and then the one more bathroom time, and then that's my day.
I thought something with trash was going to be thrown in there, but all right.
He's eating trash. That's the
I see.
trash all the way down.
Well, I mean, yeah, people call it trash, but I mean, I don't know why people throw out such good stuff. The other day, I found half a pizza. I mean, it was just the crusts, but it looked like it was at least half the crust was the pizza. It was a good day. Do you want some?
What?
I still have some.
Yeah, I do.
All right, just 1 second. And he pulls a oil-stained bag off his back. It looks like an old Burger King bag. You know how it's kind of transparent after so many oils have seeped through it. And he pulls out some dry on one side and kind of soggy on the other pizza crusts.
You know what? I'll pass. I'll just stick with my drink.
All right.
You know what? That is an excellent idea because my grandmother ate some old pizza crust once right before she got catapulted across the desert, and I can't tell if she died because of the catapult or if she died because of the pizza, so I avoid both.
That's a good call. It's a good call.
Is that catapult still there? That sounds like fun. And they gave you pizza? Is pizza free?
I don't know.
With the catapult ride? Or
I
is
wasn't there.
that... Okay. Well,
I
Al...
read it in the paper.
Right. Feed it to me. Come on.
Five types of crimes.
Pissing on a horse. Jumping up and down on the mayor's bed. Doing the do-si-do and after curfew. Climbing up a drain pipe and then looking out at the city and then thinking about your whole life and what you've strived for while simultaneously burglarizing a home and
Real specific.
making a big bonfire in the middle of the city. Don't worry about it. Making a big bonfire in the middle of the city to burn a bunch of Pulp Fiction books because the author turned out to have a really shitty end.
Alright. I was kind of thinking maybe one-word answers, and those seem real specific there. Sure, there's
Don't worry about
something
it.
to read into it. Alright.
Now, is something in this gin and tonic, or do I just have a one constitution?
Oh, that's not gin and tonic. That's my emergency bottle.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you should probably go to.
Maybe we should
vet.
do something.
Yeah, you probably need a doctor.
We should do something else before I die.
Yeah. Is there a druid? Maybe a druid could heal you.
I could indeed.
Oh, you're a
No,
druid?
I have. Yeah, I am. I actually have rather limited magical abilities at the moment because, it's been a long day. But I suppose I could spare one minor
Dig
health
nabbit.
potion.
Oh, you're just my kind. Could you put some gin in there as well?
I think we ought to talk to the bartender about that. I don't have any gin. I just got a glass of milk.
Well, we all got one free drink ticket for doing this show, so that's excellent.
That's wonderful.
Can we go
I
visit
get
the
us a glass of
bartender?
milk.
Yes.
Let's forget about the improv show. Let's go to the bartender.
The bartender. I
bartender-
could do the talking if you want.
The bartender is also the stage manager, and he comes
Oh.
in from the side door and says, "Well, if you're all warmed up, I think the crowd is expecting to see you. Good luck out there, and break a leg."
Wait, can I get a gin before we start?
I mean,
It's kind of part of our act.
certainly.
Gets a little tipsy. It just helps everything flow better.
I just happen to.
Yeah,
I have
what she said.
I have a flask on me. Pretty high proof.
Okay.
If this helps you get the wobble out of your knees, we can do that.
Excellent.
Kind of
And I'll hold out the health potion. Put it in.
Glub, 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 glub. Tell me when. Glub, 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 glub. It's overflowing. Glub, glub, glub.
Stop.
Okay,
Stop.
all right.
Oh, God. I look around the rim.
For a small
Okay.
guy, you like to drink a lot. That could kill a centaur.
Oh, shit. It's okay. As long as I don't die before the show.
All right.
And I knock it back. And I'm healed. And also very drunk at the same time.
Go ahead and roll a con save, and we'll just see just how drunk you are.
Oh, okay. We'll do a 1d20 minus 5?
Are you? Do you have a 1 for your constitution?
Yeah, that was where I put the 1.
Bold, very bold.
I'm on my deathbed every living moment.
Okay.
Okay, I got a -2.
We have a.
What does that mean?
We have a fox with tier 4 cancer. You rolled a what?
-2.
-2.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go. You need to find.
What's
a
the
bathroom.
prognosis?
You need to find a bathroom right now.
Okay.
Okay, so
Out of the way!
as he breaks to the bathroom, you can hear the stage manager going out there and making excuses. Yeah, folks, the new improv group will be out in just a few minutes. They're getting their oil changed, and they should be ready to go. So anyways, you hear about that one? About the Minotaur and the Goblin? The crowd's not into it at all.
The bathroom door bursts open. Slam! I stumble out. My legs, a little askew, but still alive. It's time. Let's
Okay.
do this.
Alright, so you guys make your way out to the...
I done told y'all. We should have made this. We should have made this a fortune-telling show. I could have handled the whole thing, but y'all just insisted on having it be improv.
You're right. We should have I should have listened to you, but I'm just a little raccoon, and I think I was my head was somewhere else at the time. What fortune do you see right now?
We're gonna fail, man.
Oh, well, actually, that's kind of comforting to know that, because now it's just destiny, and I don't have to worry about taking in the responsibility.
Oh, let me check my cards real quick. And she pulls out a deck of cards. I'm gonna flip one of those over. Actually, we're gonna have a real fun time. She puts it back in.
Okay. So while that is going on, Al is out there on stage by himself, wondering where the rest of his crew is, and he's been out there for about a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're the Hobgobblers, and we got a show for you tonight. Let me call them on stage. Gobblers, come on. The Gobblers?
Oh, I'm right behind you.
Gobbler.
They said there was free food.
Right here. Right here.
Give a hand for Raoul, Edgar, and
My name's Raoul.
and me. Raoul, we went over this. We're gonna play a game. We're gonna play a game called Questions Only.
Oh, they're throwing food at me. I like this. Tomatoes. You shouldn't have.
We gotta get the crowd back. We're gonna play a game called Questions Only. Edgar and Raoul, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna have a conversation, but it's only gonna be questions. You can only say a question, and if you say something other than a question, you lose, and you switch out with whoever's not doing the thing.
Like
Get
this?
it? Exactly. Ah, shit. So to start off, you're in a saloon.
We are in a saloon, aren't we?
I mean, no. Hypothetically, on the stage as well.
What's a hypothetical?
Oh god.
Is that a type of gun?
Edgar, you got to say a question too.
I'm just quiet with my hands in my pocket. I look back towards Al, shrug. What are we drinking?
Raoul, now you got to respond. Don't think, just do it.
His question was, what are we drinking? I was too busy goofing that I didn't pay attention to the rules.
Then you're out. It's my turn.
All right.
How you doing there, fella?
Wow, this is harder than I thought. And I take a few steps backwards, rubbing the back of my neck.
Nick's
all right, the next one's in.
There already.
You're up, Nix.
What am I supposed to do?
What are you even doing here if you don't know what you're supposed to do?
I think.
Well, couldn't you just tell me?
If I told you, would you do it?
Could you guarantee I wouldn't get hurt?
What's there to be scared of?
Well, how many things can you come up with?
What? Shit. Alright, you're up, Raoul.
Alright, for the first time, the crowd responds, and you get kind of like a half-hearted clapping, and there's some heads nodding, and you see some the whites of... Actually, you don't see the whites of teeth. You see the toothless grins of some of the patrons of this place. Smiling, but down a few. Where's the snacks?
Didn't you bring any?
I did, didn't you?
Oh, where'd you leave them?
I thought I left them with the bodyguard. I'll see you later.
That's not a question. You're out. Edgar.
I wince a bit at the idea of having to go back over there, shirk up onto the stage. Well, how are you?
Doing as well as I can be, you?
That's borderline.
There's a comma in there, and it ends in a question mark. Grammatically.
If you thought I was doing well, you would tell me, right?
Depends. What would your answer be?
Well, I'd have to think about, son of a bitch. And, I start walking off of the stage.
I shove Edgar to the side. What are you doing with those pistols?
What does it look like I'm doing?
Why are you shooting my paw?
Why is your paw bugging me?
Why'd you think my paw just giving you a pat on the butt is bugging you?
Why'd he think he could?
What cruel, inhumane monster birthed you into this world?
What God never gave you a spine?
The audience goes, ooh, and somebody draws a gun and then shoots it up into the ceiling.
I flinch. I'm like, whoa! Alright, maybe we should end this game here.
No,
well,
you would know it is not as a
shoot,
threat,
I'm out.
but as a jubilation. It's like their version of applause.
Right, but I'm shittered. The winner is Nix.
All right, hey! There's a bunch of applause coming from the crowd, and you can see the person.
A big old bow.
All right. So a bunch of stuff comes up onto the stage. You get all in all 154 copper pieces. So it's just like ting 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 ting. You hear the rattling of pennies essentially as they're kind of like flung up onto the stage, and then somebody says, "Man, if only we had some sort of denomination that wasn't a hard metal, it sure would make it easier. Oh well, I guess we'll keep throwing metal at people."
Oh, I say as they like pelt me like hail.
And Nix's cat's tail starts swishing a little bit because watching the little shiny pieces bounce across the stage is mighty tempting. But she resists.
She resists. I'm gonna see it now. 10 sessions from now, the big boss is gonna be just a red dot laser pointer. Now you are under my thrall.
Nix is out for the rest of the campaign.
Okay. Did you want to do another improv game, or did you guys want to go to story?
I feel ready.
Let's do some story. That question game stressed me out.
Right? That was challenging.
It's all you just got to have the gumption. Don't worry about failure. That's what it's all about.
No, I've played a lot of theater games and improv games, and that one is probably my least favorite. So, good choice there. Nice.
We got to take them out of their comfort zone. I knew it from the start.
You read me like a children's book. You're like, she looks like a girl who hates the question game.
She looks like a very hungry caterpillar. That's right.
Okay, so I'm just going to be grabbing some different music. Something a little more ambient.
This is great. Henry's gonna have to be the straight man. We're gonna be doing a lot of. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. I'm excited for a chance to really smooth talk, as I've recently discovered I'm good at doing that in character. I think.
Was your character on Thursday?
Sorry.
You had 6 halfling siblings that all sang. Right.
Those songs were amazing. Hats off to you.
That was so fun. You missed at the end there. I had them like gather around the hags and they were like, our necrotic powers will now cause you pain. Prepare for our demonic refrain. And the hags were all like shrieking, dying.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Up. And Al and Ed, you guys had posted up, so let me get you a little camp.
Oh. So now that we know that Al has 1 constitution, that snake bite could have easily like killed him right on the spot.
Yeah. And I think
Last week.
that's why you guys are kind of keen to post up in here rather than.
You get an infection from Jim's tooth. I mean Joe's tooth.
Yes. All right. And you guys have a lizard. Let me grab that so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. And Nyx has a horse. There you go. And center you guys up. And let me make the video big. Nice. So, as a general recap, where we left off last week is Ed and Al had traveled to the railhead after receiving a notice, or note, a job, a gig job. I don't know what to call it. When you get a short-term contract to complete a task.
Assignment?
Assignment, yeah, I guess it was kind of an assignment board. You guys just kind of plucked it off to go to the railhead and figure out the case of the missing skeletons. Upon arriving, you talked to the foreman, Whistling Pete, and he...
It's Whistling Pete now?
What was he before?
I thought it was Whistling Joe, and then I named him Whistling Jim.
Whistling Joe. We will memorialize this with a nameplate. And there you go. Whistling Joe had said that during the night the laborers, the skeletal laborers, disappear. That he was able to track them for a little bit, following footprints left in the dust. They would go a ways and then disappear. After a bit of grilling, you did learn that they always kind of disappeared whenever a traveling brothel kind of would come by. And then in the morning, something would happen. He's afraid that a necromancer is enthralling the skeletons. or not a necromancer, but a lich, is enthralling the skeletons and raising an army that will be used to kill specifically Whistling Joe, as apparently he has no capacity to realize creatures exist outside of himself.
Maybe they just disappear because he has no object permanence.
Yeah, he closed his eyes. He's like, oh my god, they're all gone again. Oh, there you are. Oh my god, they're all... Yeah. He does have some issues. Maybe we should have just brought some, like, baby books and one of those object hole things where you put the blocks in the hole. So,
Edgar nurses him, and I feed him baby food. Sorry.
So in order to get more information, he decided to post up for the next 2 days. The brothel was, according to your highly reliable eyewitness, the ladies of the night should be stopping by within 2 days. He, in the interim, decided to take you up on your offer of snake spaghetti, and found some snakes live and tossed them to you. They nearly ended your life, and we are currently recovering from that. Nix, you have been on the road for 3 days, and a few days ahead of you, maybe one or two, are the dusty footprints of a riding lizard. You can care that they were carrying 2 people. You working with the HAPD, Harsha Associates of Practicing Detectives. You were told that some people were on the case, and to go out and assist them. As it is a remote location, it's best to work as a large group. They often assign more than the necessary number of individuals, as these distant locations can present unique problems. The woman that runs the place is a kind of middle-aged Minotaur woman who is bullish in her dialogue and not afraid to put her hoof down when she needs to. And there is a commission, I think that's the word I was looking for, of 1,000 gold pieces upon completion. Or let's just say information leading to the conviction or arrest of a criminal party. You are approaching the railhead now, Nix, and you hear voices over the wind. One a little bit higher, one seems to be more reserved. And Ed and Al, what are you guys talking about? Whistling Joe has forced upon you this thing of snake spaghetti. And what would be the topic of the day, as this is the second day and no brothel has arrived?
I gotta say, Edgar, I don't think we would have gotten any information out of him if it weren't for you standing behind me.
Well, we all have our purpose. Yours is to talk loudly. Mine is to carry a big stick.
And that I can do. Whoo, diggity. I say, I prod the snakes in front of me and say, so, we could make food out of this, right?
Sure. It's a protein of sorts. I might be able to whip something up. And I go over to them and start stripping the skin off with a small skinning knife.
Make sure you get the venom glands, I say, kind of just standing back and supervising.
As you nurse your wound.
Yeah.
I look back up with a smile. But those are the best of delicacies, cooked to the right perfection, and he does a little chef kiss. That will just set the evening perfectly.
Then they're all yours, my friend. They're all yours.
So about this time, Nyx, you're within earshot, and they seem. Well, I guess we can roll. What is your passive stealth? Let's see who sees first. So what is your stealth score, Nyx?
My passive stealth is. It's not on here. Hold on.
Oh, we're just going to take your stealth score and add 10 to it to make it your passive.
Okay, it's 12.
12. Do either of you have 12 passive perception?
No.
I have 12 even on
Okay.
passive perception.
Alright, so Ed, you would have heard the approach of a horse. Looking up, you would see a road-weary horse carrying a... And do you want to describe Nyx to us?
Yes. Nyx is a somewhat short and slender humanoid figure. At first glance, you would think she's human or at least an elf, because she has long pointed ears kind of poking out from her hair on the sides of her face, about where you would expect to find ears. However, as she approaches you, you notice that she is kind of a smoky gray color to her skin, which you realize is actually covered in fur. And she has large feline eyes that are golden. Although the irises are golden, the pupils are still circular, like a human. She has pink nose and pink lips, but surrounding her nose is a white patch, and it kind of extends up the bridge of her nose, goes off towards her left eyebrow, and it kind of stops middle of her forehead. She's got kind of medium length silver gray hair, like a human, although she is very much part cat. Ears, as she draws even closer, you can make out that they are actually furry and slightly striped with a little bit of darker gray. She's dressed simply in a white cotton blouse with a medium-length cornflower blue skirt. She has a belt with about 4 pouches across the back, a dagger on the left, and a holster for her firearm on the right. Her pack is a little unique. It's an Adirondack basket that's kind of worn like a backpack. It's got some things strapped to it, but you can't quite make out exactly what they are. It just kind of looks like a bedroll, coil of rope, and some strange little box underneath. She doesn't wear any shoes. She's treading on more feline feet. Her hands are human with sharp nails, but they aren't claws. They don't really retract or extend, but you can tell that her feet definitely look more cat-like. And she has a long, proportionate gray striped tail. Peeks out from her skirt.
I think as Edgar's taking all of this in, I snap my fingers together, and it sounds like the 2 stones kind of clacking together, and I motion towards Nyx so Albert sees. I don't think she looks like one of the brothel workers, but maybe one of Whistling Joel's other visitors?
Well, could be. Nyx, you see like a short fox man with huge red ears, and well, he doesn't have a tweed jacket on now. It's cast to the side because he's boiling in this evening heat. He's holding up a rattlesnake skin, and he sniffs it and then looks disgusted and tosses it aside. Ho there!
Hello,
Cat? Person?
Yeah, what does Nyx see as she looks into the camp? These 2 people. If you want to describe Al.
Yeah, so he's 2 big red ears that seem to pivot to match your voice as you approach. He's got nice fuzzy red fur, but regular digits, of course, also covered in fur. Big brown eyes that seem to scope around and see much deeper than you'd think. He's got a short, like, cargo shorts on with and a box of matches kind of hanging loosely out of one side, a pipe sticking out of the other pocket, along with a notebook. And he has a rather delicate frame. Quite delicate, in fact. Looks like one bite could send him to his deathbed.
How tall does he stand?
He's like 3 feet, probably. He's 3 feet, and he's completely outsized by Edgar next to him.
And I think the Edgar standing next to him is moving quickly despite his more stockier frame. It's very evident that I am a stone dwarf. I stand a bit taller than most of my folk, around 5'5" or so. I have a worn and weathered dark trench coat. You can see that it's been through quite a bit. Dust stains it, as well as a few tears and holes. My pants and shirt are rather dull tones, and they are also kind of covered in dirt and what assumes to be like a stone kind of crumbling of sorts. It's clear that I do not care too much about my appearance. The only armaments that you can really make out is a revolver attached to my hip. I have a very stoic and broad frame. Looking at him, he kind of stands, and you can see that his face tells a story. Much like the stones of the mountains and his leather jacket, he is also weathered and worn. But currently, I am moving to and fro, preparing some sort of food, which you can probably smell cooking, as I stated, kind of quicker than what he looks.
As I make my way to the fire, I'm going to call out, "Hello, gentlemen. Are you the ones that are working on the commission? I've been sent here by the HAPD."
What? I told the boss we didn't need anybody else, didn't I? I say, turning to Edgar.
I mean, you did tell her, but we could use the company. Well, come on, have a seat.
All right. I'm Albert Schnooks, and this is Edgar.
I turn around, clearly kind of keeping one eye on the skillet. I'm Edgar.
Say your last name.
Edgar Hooks. Sorry, I keep forgetting that part.
Hooks and Schnooks.
You can see Edgar visibly kind of roll his eyes.
Hooks and I'll work on that. I'll try.
You should remember the name. Nix. Someday we're gonna be the greatest detectives this side of Harsha.
It's an honor to be working with you on your very first case, I hear.
That's right.
Well, I would say this is my first case too, especially with the HAPD.
So they put a bunch of rookies on this, huh?
Well, I suppose, but you know what? I can tell that you're the kind that will be a leader.
You hear that, Edgar? Huh?
Yeah.
She says I'm the leader.
Keen
You're
eye.
a very distinguished looking gentleman. You definitely have the look of a professional man.
See? Finally, some validation.
I just nod and kind of go back to flipping a bit of the meat on the skillet.
As you are having
And this gentleman right here.
Go ahead.
This gentleman right here, you appear to really you seem to be the rock of the group. You know what I mean? I think with the three of us, you could just be like an anchor for us, just kind of grounding us together.
Yeah, stone puns. Good. I'm glad we're all here in this together.
At this point, Whistling Joe interrupts. It's like, That sounds like she's got you in a rocky spot.
Shut up, Joe.
Look,
I don't mean to insult.
who are
I
you?
have a way of reading people.
Well, I got a way of reading people too. And what I'm saying is that when my girls are going to be coming around, and I don't want any trouble from none of you. Those luscious lips are mine, and I don't want to have to compete against none of you. That's why Whistling Joe's out here, right?
There's no worry from me, Joe. I've got plenty to keep me company.
That's right.
The only lady for me, Joe, is Lady Clue.
You're a strange one.
That sounded better in my head.
Yeah, you know, I'm not worried about you, actually. You just do whatever you want. But you, Corin, and you, furry lady, you don't touch my women. And don't give them no more money, because I can't afford to compete usually none. So, alright, please, I'm begging you.
Oh, now, sir, you don't have to worry about me, sir. It's all right. I have far more important things to be occupying my mind with.
What? I don't even understand. How can that... You're a strange one, too. Alright.
Don't worry, Joe. Just go sit back down. We're gonna stay in our camp and we'll stay away from your ladies. Just
Well,
And delicious rattlesnakes, by the way. Thank you so much, Joe.
oh, yeah. Yeah, once they stop biting you, they're pretty good. That's the key, though. You kill them first, and then you try to cook them. Not the other way around. Not the other way.
We'll remember that.
I nod and continue to flip over and saute the venom glands.
So, you from Hershaw? Nix? You said your name was?
That's right. My name is Nix. I'm from a couple of places. Originally from Harshaw. Where are you from?
Well, Harshaw, born and raised. Couldn't tell by my accent.
I could. What about you, Mr. What was your name again?
Edgar. Yeah, Harshaw area, a small ranch just outside of the city limits. My family used to own it. I lived there most of my life.
Well, we got a bunch of Harshaw natives working together. This ought to be a piece of cake.
But I like her already, Edgar.
I'm sure she'll do just fine. I'm finishing up the evening food if you're hungry, and I'll motion to the food.
I will definitely partake of that. I do love some deliciously cooked reptile.
Yeah, those poison
I'm
not
glands look
cooked.
delicious.
I'm not very
Mind if
picky.
I have one?
Now,
Wait for your
Whistling,
women, Joe.
if we can't touch your women, you can't touch our glands.
Phrasing.
They'll touch your glands, right? I go to high five Edgar.
I do not high five.
Oh,
Well, okay. Well, maybe I just can have a bite, and then you know me. I just,
I'll hold my hand up and then just like take one and walk it over to Whistling Joe.
is it
Go on.
Is it actually cooked, or is it just like a?
Yeah, he
is it-
takes one
is
that's
it-
cooked.
what I'm asking you is, you have the opportunity to give him one that will poison him, or one that is cooked.
Right, he's gonna give him one that's cooked. It's good to go.
All right. And he pops it in his mouth like a jalapeno popper. and you can see a little bit of Icar kind of running down through the gaps in his teeth. There's not much to actually hold it in. Just like Mama used to make. Oh, poor Mama. But anyways, oh, what's that? And his ears seem to be particularly tuned. It takes a moment, but after a brief beat of silence, you can hear wagon wheels approaching. It's a covered wagon, and you can see a particularly busty hobgoblin woman at the helm. She is as thick as a bowl of oatmeal, and she is wearing a kind of a red, like Southern Belle kind of like full dress, but she's taken it and she's hemmed the long flowing part kind of up to her calves, which are thick and a little bit hairy, and covering it up are thick cowboy boots made of some sort of leather. It may be horse, or it may be maybe even elephant, to something a little exotic. As well as her hair, it's dark, heavy, thick strands, and it's done up in kind of a what would you say? Like a what kind of hair would she be having? I'm imagining like kind of done up with some sort of like things to keep it in place.
Messy bun. A messy
Probably
bun.
like a Gibson girl hairstyle with some curls that fall around the shoulder and maybe a rosette or two in them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like a desert. Oh, she has a cactus flower. Yeah, she has a cactus flower in her hair. Yeah, and she's got the rosette just going on, and she's got really broad, strong shoulders. And her eyes are the center are black with just rings of yellow. And she kind of brings it's an ox that's pulling the cart, and she brings it in with a crack of the reins, and you can hear her say, "Whoa now, whoa!" as she brings it in. And Whistling Pete starts walking over, his hat in his hand. "Well, Missy, you came back. Good to see ya. We got company now." And she looks over at you guys, and there's a moment where it's not pleasant. Like she is sizing you all up. And in the same way. What was that? In the same way, a predator sizes a prey up, but then it breaks into.
My ears swivel.
Okay.
And I say, "What? Well, how do there, ma'am? Well met."
Well, how do indeed. It's good to have some company out here. Things can get dangerous.
That's right. There's rattlers out there. If you weren't knowing.
Well, I assure you, rattlers are the least of your problems out here. At which point the ox kind of bucks forward, and she has to come over and put a hand on it, calm it down.
I whip out a notebook as I approach. Ma'am, we mind if I ask you a few questions? Detective Hooks, HAPD. I mean Schnooks. Ah, shit.
Her eyes just squint as she stares down at you. She towers above you at about 6 feet tall. Her red, like fur-covered hide, kind of glistening in the sun. And she kind of rolls her tongue around her mouth and spits off. And she just stares at you.
I'll take that as a yes. Jimmy, when did you say those skeletons were going missing? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Well, don't you worry yourself none about that. They'll show up.
Ma'am, where were you at 11 p.m. 2 weeks time ago?
I was working.
Working, right? And your profession?
I'm a prostitute.
Oh, right, of course, makes sense. And do you have any experience in wrestling, supervising, or otherwise handling undead?
Well, and she kind of pauses for a moment. Everybody around working with White Sands, and at which point the ox seems to be ill-tempered and shoulder bumps her. And, well, I mean,
Oh,
everybody seems to have to deal with him now.
right. Deal with them now. So you have, to clarify.
Yes.
All right. Will you be staying the night in this area?
She looks over at Whistling Joe, who has got his hands like on the brim of his hat, and he's just kind of like curling the edges over, and he like shakes his head, and then she looks back to you and says, "Yeah, I'll be staying at least one night."
All right. Thank you for your time, ma'am. I say, and I tip my my hat, the name of which eludes me at the moment.
Okay.
My tweed hat.
All right. At this point, she's gonna kind of squat down to get kind of eye level to you, and says, "You know, it can be awfully lonely out here, and you ever want some company?" And she kind of smiles, and you can see the enlarged canines of the hobgoblin.
Oh, what I would love to take you up on that offer.
Reaches out a heavy hand and kind of tries to scratch you behind your ear.
Well, I accept ear scratches. That's for certain.
Well,
Ooh.
I accept gold.
Oh. Sorry, I don't do anything on the job. Thank you, though.
Oh, all I do is on the job.
I look over at Edgar and Nix and point to her.
Nix, in
I
the
have,
meantime, has just been sitting here with her tail just slowly going up and down and just giving one of those cat-like gazes where you literally could not impress them more. They don't care. Those watchful cat eyes of,
Just
go ahead, keep
indifference.
going.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolute indifference.
I have, as you look back for Edgar, you notice that he's not at the camp. I have kind of circumvented some of our supplies and wagon and positioned myself near the back of her wagon, kind of off a bit. I'm trying to peer in and see if there are other prostitutes with her or other compatriots in any kind of thing, like if I can see into the wagon at all.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check. And let's see how those amazing ability scores work out.
-4, baby.
The DC is pretty
That
low.
would be an 8.
Okay.
8.
So DC is 6. Because you're just looking into the back wagon. You do not see any other people, nor do you see any kit or gunna that would suggest like more than one person, because you're used to what it takes to travel along these roads, as far as like supplies and personal effects. And you see a small knapsack, like a day bag, and several barrels, but they look like they're kind of nailed shut, and it's usually what provisions are stored in, to keep kind of wildlife out. But it seems kind of on the lighter side. and there's a lot of space dedicated to the sleeping area.
All right.
So,
Hey,
but you do see a lot of pieces of plants and like little odd pieces of animals. Like it'd be like talons or like a strip of leather and like a few dried berries, and they're just kind of like a lot of them are just kind of tied together so they can be held all at once.
I think he's squinting. Like I'm just looking into this. I have a handful of venom glands in my palm. I'm like popping them in occasionally, like grapes, kind of looking inconspicuous. Both surveying the wagon, her, and then the out surroundings for the moment.
you got any questions for the working lady, Nix?
Actually, I do have a couple. Nix gets up from the log and strolls over, but she still maintains a decent distance from the hobgoblin. See, I'm a druid, so I have a soft spot for animals and such. What's the name of your ox here?
Go ahead and roll insight. Or what is your passive insight? I'm gonna flip this.
Passive insight is 12.
She breathes in a smooth and consistent manner when you start to ask her questions. What were you asking her?
The name of the ox.
Meg. Her name's Meg.
His name? She looks like a fine animal. And you look like a fine woman.
No, you don't
How
need
long
to
have
lie
you
to
been
me.
traveling? What?
You don't need to lie to me.
I ain't lying.
Okay, roll roll persuasion.
15.
15?
Let me check my modifiers. I'm sorry, I'm not used to this character yet. Actually, 17.
17. Okay. She takes a deep breath in. And exhales. I'm sorry. I had to put on a bit of a face, you know. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
We all have to wear different faces at different times, don't we? Kind of keep that true part of ourselves hidden.
Well,
You know, there are some who would say, for a lady like yourself, that is quite the asset to be able to be a woman of mystery.
it's something that has served me well. I can't lie. But there are times where I wish I could just not have to wear that kind of mask.
Well, and you and I, we could consider ourselves friends, and then we will agree not to wear masks around one another. That sound agreeable to you?
She's thinking. Friendship isn't something that's just given, it's something that's earned.
Well, it is where I come from.
Well, if you earn my friendship, then yes, I can see that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I consider you my friend, and I'll let you decide at your leisure what you think of me.
I appreciate that. It's tough to find people like you out here. And most of people I work with are more like Whistling Joe over there. He's just so caught up with himself that he never takes time to get to know anybody else.
But sometimes there are those of us who can see beyond just the shallow facades that we all put on. It just takes someone perceptive enough to see it.
Well, you gotta be careful when you go looking for things. Sometimes you find stuff you don't want to see.
Have you found much like that in these areas?
Oh, all the time. I mean, you should have seen the place just down the railhead a little bit. You think Whiston Joe's a mess? You should see the guy down there.
Yeah, is that the direction I came from?
It's the direction you were going. So
The direction I was headed.
yeah. So this is actually a cleanup crew to repair damages to the rails and stuff. It looks like there's been a lot of natural damage. Like there's been a lot of plant growth, like things kind of churning the rails and dislodging the tracks, making it unsafe to regularly drive a fully loaded train down it.
All right. Thank you. Then I'll just continue speaking to her. So, I just gotta ask, because, I'm just trying to unravel a bit of this mystery that's going on around here, just because, it's obviously, it would be much more convenient if we were able to run the trains as normal. But seeing as how that's, interrupted, I'm gonna gesture towards the tracks. Perhaps somebody like you're a local, you've been here a real long time. I'm rather new to the area. Are there any people or other beings that you could think of that I might need to ask? Because you'd be the person to talk to, I think, around here. Because as you said, Whistling Joe, I think his name is, he's a little self-absorbed.
Well, ma'am, what is your business? I don't even know your name out here.
Well, my name is Nix. It's nice to meet you.
Well, my name's Belle.
I take an interest in the land.
My name's
Sorry?
Belle. And she gives kind of like a little bit of a curtsy. It's an odd
Nix returns that curtsy.
gesture coming from such a robust, and it's a combination of like robust, like muscularness and voluptuousness. She's a full-bodied woman.
Nix returns that, but because she's so feline and graceful, she makes it a rather shallow curtsy so that it doesn't come across as show off. Because you get the impression by looking at Nix that she could easily curtsy and then probably do a front flip and a handspring and then, land on her feet afterward.
I'm imagining like a gymnast kind of build for her. Like
a little bit, yeah.
Like really kind of sinewy and long. But yeah.
Not super muscular.
Yeah, not super muscular.
She has a -1 in strength, so.
Yes. Nix, what is your business out here?
Well, see, I take a special interest in the land, and since there's seems to be some sort of plant life being disturbed around these parts, it's kind of my given duty as a druid. I'm one of nature's guardians, so I'm just wanting to know why the plants seem to be upset around here, if you know what I mean. I understand our lives are rather different, so you might not understand the background of a druid, but it's just kind of my special care that I take. I can roll deception for that.
How are you lying to her?
Because it's a half-truth. It's a half-truth. I'm technically officially.
But
I'm trying to kind of keep that.
Aren't you a druid?
Secret. I am.
Okay.
I am. But I didn't know if you would count it as a full lie. It is a half-truth.
Okay.
Because the part that would stick out to Nix is going to be the fact that there is plant and earth involved. It seems like a nature versus technology kind of battle, so that would be a personal interest in it. However, she does have this professional interest in it, but she's trying to keep that a secret at
Oh,
this
so
point.
she's hiding the fact that she's part of
Yeah.
detectives.
Yes.
Okay. I'm actually updating names and stuff. So go ahead and roll deception. And bum. Okay.
That would be a
And
16.
16. So normally I would tell you what I rolled, but because we're doing kind of clandestine stuff, I'm keeping the NPC's rolls secret.
Actually, I am sorry. I was incorrect. That is actually 18.
18. It changes things.
Yes. I have a +5 in deception.
So
I'm a
she
charlatan.
rolled a 17 in insight.
Oh.
Well, so you're out here, you're concerned about plants? Are you one of those traveling scholars or something?
Nature. I'm something of the sort. I consider myself part of one of Guardians of Nature.
Is that an organization?
Well, no, it's a faith. It's more of a faith.
Okay. Well, it's none of my business to judge. What do you? Yeah, I've been up and down these rails, working them for the last 3 months. What did you want to know?
I just wanted to know when about this started, when you started noticing, this kind of stuff going on.
About a month ago, when I started to get into the flat land territory, kind of moving out of the hills of the north. Listen, Pete's been saying that skeletons have part of his crew, Skelly Boys, he calls them, have been disappearing, and that he didn't really know what was going on. That the plant problems seem to be worse around here, and it seems to drop off in other areas. And they haven't been reporting, well, at least not to me, any kind of disappearances. So he said he was worried about there'd be some sort of skeleton gang, and that they were gonna come kill him or something. Anyways, it was a lot of rambling.
Any idea where that idea would have come from?
She looks over at Whistling Pete, and she looks back at you. I'm scared to imagine.
That's
how
enough
that
said. I understand. I know. I've only been here a few moments, and I got his size. But from a female to a female, I just got to ask you: is there any place in a nearby town where I might purchase some perfume? I just thought you'd be the one to know.
Yeah. In fact, when this rail line's completed, they're working to connect a town called Abilene. And
Abilene. Oh, wonderful.
they're known. They got the most beautiful flower blooms during the summer, and people have been known to take them and distill them down, make some mighty pretty smells out of it.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm not going to pester you with a bunch more questions. That was it. I thought I would get, your opinion on something, because I've been on the road for a while now, and I'm starting to smell worse than. She glances over towards her fox friend. Dog.
He looks over. He's got like half-eaten rattlesnake hanging out of his mouth. He's like, what?
Right.
And then he looks back and just continues eating.
She'll reach out and pat you on the shoulder and said, "Oh, darling, don't worry about it out here." And she kind of leans in and does a little bit of whisper. "If you just don't knock them out with your smell, then you're ahead of the game out here."
Well, that's actually some real fine advice. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
She gives you a wink and then says, "Oh, go ahead."
Nix is just gonna stick out her hand and offer to shake her hand.
She shakes your hand. And there's a warmth there that wasn't there before. And she follows it up with saying, well, if you ever do find your way down to Abilene, then look up Rose. She is a client of mine, and she runs the perfume shop down there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll tell her that you sent me especially. I'm sure she'll be mighty pleased.
Yeah, well, yeah. And, well, I have business to attend to. She kind of smiles.
Of course, I understand. I'm not going to take up any more time. Nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you can consider me a friend. Then Nyx will just turn and walk back to her place on the log.
The word friend makes her pause. She doesn't really know what to do with that word. But then she turns back to Pete. The mask comes back on, and you can hear her. This is as they're walking away. I heard you've been doing well out here. Look at your skeleton, your crew. They're doing so well. And he's like, yeah, I got them. They're doing great out here. We clear so many plants, you wouldn't believe it. And they kind of walk off.
The Albert regards you as you walk up. Well, looks like we got a silver tongue over here.
I'm sorry about that little look that I gave you earlier. I was just trying to make a joke.
No.
It didn't go over too well.
Well, by all means. I'm not sure what you were saying, but it was probably regarding my odor. But anybody who talks that long with a suspect is all right in my books. You glean anything important? He says, taking out his notebook again while he's still gulping down the rattlesnake.
Well, since we haven't had a moment to compare notes, I'm not sure how much y'all have found out, but some of this might be old news to you, but it was new to me. So things began around here about a month ago. So it's relatively recent, all of this interference. Trying to think of what else might have been important in that. But I did kind of strike up a friendliness with her. She was hesitant to call me a friend, but I consider her a friend at least an acquaintance. So I think we can count on her if we ever have any other questions. At least I can be the one to pose them.
So you don't think she's suspicious?
Not really. She seemed like she was pretty honest.
All right. Honest.
If we uncover more information, we could carefully plan some questions that I could ask her later. So the important thing for me at this point is just trying to establish a timeline and most importantly, establish some trust. That way...
You give me a lead?
Mm-hmm.
You give me a lead and he taps his nose, sniff it out.
I think Edgar has kind of been standing off to the side, listening to the two of you discuss things. I'll be honest. It's quite impressive what you pulled off there. So, good job.
Are you guys talking next to her
wagon
right now?
No,
I've gone back to sit by the fire.
Oh, okay.
I pop another venom gland in my mouth. I didn't see much back there. Various plants, fixtures, normal traveling stuff. I'll be honest, it gave me some shamanistic vibes, a bit, dried out things, regents almost, rather than traveling materials.
DM, is the wagon still sitting there? Is it just still? Is she parked, basically?
Yeah, the wagon is sitting there. The ox is tied up still in its yoke. And Belle and Whistling Joe have gone to more clandestine location, leaving the camp empty.
And leaving the wagon intact? Are they inside the wagon or have they left the area.
No, you last saw them walking over a hill to the north. And whistling.
Okay,
was
so the
like, "I got
wagon
the
is
perfect
unattended.
Spot all picked out. You can see the starlights. Your guys look so pretty." And then, yeah.
So after she ascertains that they're well out of sight, Nyx will spend 10 minutes to ritual cast Detect Magic. And when that is active, she's going to walk over and look at the wagon and its contents. Without going into it or touching it, just using Detect Magic.
So Detect Magic, wording is pretty specific. It has to be a visible magical item. So if it is within a box or otherwise concealed or invisible, you would not see that. So I feel
It's, I believe it's specifically within a barrier of 1 foot of wood, 8 inches of stone, or 2 inches of metal.
It says for the duration, I can sense the presence of magic within 30 feet. And I can use my action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and learn School of Magic, if any. And the spell can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood and dirt.
3 feet?
This is strangest thing. Everything on the cart's 3 feet thick. No, I'm kidding. So going through, you can see one of the boxes has a anamorphic glow red evocation magic, low intensity. The harness on the cow, the ox is yellow with transmutation, and it kind of seems to be bleeding into the ox. And there is also some yellow on the tarp. Same thing. The canvas over the top has little bits of like yellow, kind of almost like a residual kind of thing. There would be and then the little bound pieces of knickknacks and whatnot have a variety. It's like a bit of a rainbow, and it's also that kind of residual magic. It doesn't come off as magic itself, but it looks like it had been used for magic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like to run Detect Magic a little bit like it leaves a visible scent. So like if magic is cast in an area, it kind of resides in it for a little bit and then slowly fades, for over time.
That's nice.
So you do see some of that fading energy in a lot of the stuff. But the stuff inside the box is not fading. It seems to be innervated. It is evocation, and then there is some a handbag with some black, as it is infused with necromancy.
Necrotic.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All right, so then I'm going to slip back to the fire, and I'm going to relay all of this information to my partners here. And as I finish describing everything that I saw, now we have a choice here, gentlemen. I could sneak into the wagon and inspect these items, but then we run the risk of losing the trust that I just built. Do either one of you feel, and she kind of glances at the fox specifically, sneaky enough to
Albert's like shaking dust out of his boots. It's like, oh, give me a second, and he like puts it back on. What? You said there was transmutation on the ox? Should we interrogate the ox?
Well, I mean, we could, but I'm a little bit more interested in the handbag with necromancy since we're dealing with the undead.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Yes, just like in my just like in my imagination. Uh, uh let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to pretend to be completely uninvolved in this, because if she catches us, if she comes back and catches us, we've completely ruined all of our future chances to talk to this woman in a polite and friendly way. If we want the information.
That's all right. Whistling Pete strikes me as a man who likes to take his time.
Name is Pete now.
It was that's what the DM's been saying.
It's Joe.
It was Joe.
It was well, okay, then we're going with Joe. Whistling Joe seems like a man who tries to take his time. Edgar, you distract the ox. We'll sneak around the back. You give me a boost, and I'll get that whatever it is. Where'd you say it was?
It's in the wagon, right, DM? Like I would have seen this, so.
Yeah. What specifically were you?
I'll just relay direct instructions. The bag that contains the School of Necromancy object.
Okay.
I nod,
Then,
and look over towards the oxen. If I see something, I'll just do one of my snaps. You can recognize it, point it out. You'll be all right. Just get out of there.
You got it.
And I'll saunter off up towards the front.
Wait, I got it. Hold on. So he doesn't suspect a thing. I clap my hands and I use Nathir's gift to make a body double of myself.
Okay.
To stand next to Edgar.
All right. So how does
I think Edgar
is it like swirling winds, like, or how does it manifest?
I just clap and then like, pop! He appears right next to me, and my double looks at me and says, "Hey there, handsome." Well, thanks, handsome.
I think Edgar squints, raising one eyebrow. Yeah, so the ox doesn't think anything, right?
Right. So I added another owl to the map.
Okay. Excellent.
The ox has some transmutation magic residual on him, so we're not sure if he really is an ox at this point. So I think your job is pretty critical.
All right.
And
totally noted.
And Albert, I'm not sure it's going to be wise of me to boost you into the wagon because I'd have to walk back there, and I might get spotted.
Is it at least less than 3 feet to the entrance?
Well, most typical wagons, just out of character here, most typical wagons have a metal step set that hangs down low across the back. That would, if we're talking a typical Stoga wagon type.
Albert's from the city, so he just has no idea what's going on.
I imagine he fishes through his bag and quickly pulls out a grappling hook and some rope and is like, "I got this." And then Nyx is like, and then picks him up by the shoulders and then just like puts him in the wagon.
Well, no, I'm back by the fire at this point.
Okay,
we're talking over by the fire, so yeah.
Oh, so you're not at the wagon?
Yeah, I left the wagon, so everyone else was staying at the fire. I ritual cast detect magic and went to the wagon, and so now I've come back from it, and I am sending my partner over, and I'm going to continue kind of talking to the illusion of Albert, so that the actual Albert can get away without really being noticed and do what he does.
Okay.
Illusion is on autopilot and only saying, "I love rattlesnake," and by golly gee willikers.
Okay, and as you're doing that, Nyx and Ed, you hear the Curson voice of Whistling Joe as he's coming up the hill. Dadgummit, I forgot the thing. I gotta go back and get it. It's just such a pain in the ass to walk all. And he kind of like walks right through the middle of your camp. And let's give him a perception check of 16 minus 1 for 15. He looks over the group and it's like, I like snakes too. And it's kind of like a bit. He seems like he's pausing for a second, like he's kind of thinking about investigating what's going on. What would you guys like to do?
So I'm going to take the initiative to go walk up to him and see if I can strike up a conversation.
$5 you willikers.
Excuse me, sir. I've been told that you are the gentleman to speak to in these parts. That you are, how they say, kind of the head honcho.
Well,
Is
I
that
do
true?
fancy myself a boss.
All right, and then Nyx is just slowly going to sidestep to where he's turning him to where he's facing away from the wagon.
Okay.
I love Rattlesnake.
Cool. He rolled a 5 with disadvantage. He rolled a 11 and a 5, so that drops it down to a 4. So Al remains hidden as you are giving him the help
Wonderful.
action.
Okay.
Should I roll stealth?
I was just taking whatever your passive is. You can roll if you want. If you roll higher than your passive, because you would be aware of this.
I got a 12.
12. And your modifier? Or is that total?
It's a minus. Yeah, that's total.
Okay.
I have a -1 to dexterity.
So you got 4. And
oh no, I have I have 14.
Yeah, because you have
I have
expertise.
proficient.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, I fancy myself a bit of a businessman. And he kind of like takes his shirt collar and pops it up a little bit. And what's your question, miss? I'm full of advice.
Well, I'm rather new around these
Mhm.
parts, and I was just wondering if you could explain to me the purpose of this railway, because obviously you're working very hard to maintain order around here and make sure that the work keeps getting done. So I was just wondering what kind of work that's gonna lead into what kind of business, you know?
Oh, that's easy. The purpose of the railway is to the purpose of the railway is to rail the way for trains, because they don't get lost.
Oh,
Without the tracks, the trains would just
I
get lost and wander off like a bunch of buffalo.
well, that is highly intelligent of you. I didn't even consider that.
Of course
That's
it
real
is.
smart.
Did you expect anything less?
Are you the proprietor of this railway?
Oh, yeah, I own the whole thing.
Did you invent the railway, sir?
I did, and I'm rich.
She looks with the most wide and childlike gaze of awe.
I can make you rich, too. You want to come back with me to Bell and maybe have a drink?
Well, I would, but I already had some milk for the evening, and milk always makes me real sleepy. So I gotta find a place to pitch my tent.
Yeah, well,
'Cause I don't think these
Hey,
Your loss. We could have been rich. Oh well. And
well,
I gotta
maybe
go.
I'll take you up on it some other time.
Yeah. Belle wanted her money up front, so I was just getting it, and because last time I couldn't pay. But anyways, good
How much
talking.
does she charge?
She says she gives me a good deal, and I should be thankful that she even looks my way. It's 20 gold pieces.
20 gold pieces.
Well, I mean,
Well, she must be a mighty fine lady then.
she's worth every silver. And she.
so it,
What's up?
Which direction is he headed? Just out of
He's
curiosity.
heading towards his wagon. I forgot
His
my
wagon. Okay.
wallet, and I need to go get it.
All right.
So that gave me about like 5 minutes in the wagon, right?
The wagon is completely obscured. You could hide in it and see what happens, but he has indicated that he will be going to his and not Bell's wagon.
Right. But I'm like 5 minutes to do whatever in the wagon while he's distracted.
Yep.
So I snip around.
Overall, you had about 30 minutes as you got in there, began your investigation, and then he showed up a few minutes afterwards.
Okay. So I sniff around. Trying to smell out necromancy.
I would have given you
said it was
direct directions to what it was in the handbag.
the top left corner. All right. And I like scramble over. Do I see a handbag there?
Yeah, you do.
I gingerly pop it open and look inside with my big brown eyes, both ears pointed towards the center of the bag. What do I see inside?
There's 3 potions. Each have it's a clear liquid, but when you hold it up to the light, it seems to darken.
I'd like to open a stopper on one and like dip my pinky in it and then give it a little taste.
So after tasting it, you begin to experience the effects of false life, and you get 1 temporary hit point.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah. Don't know when I grew these guns.
I think your total health is doubled now.
Basically. I say, do I know what this is?
Is Al the kind of guy to spend time with the lonesome dove?
Like a lady of the night?
Yes.
No. He's just all about mysteries.
Okay. You can roll a history check to see if you've heard about it. But you would know that this is kind of something really common in the trade.
I got a 21.
21? Shit, son.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the fantasy version of Viagra. False life gives you stamina to... Yep.
Oh!
It's more.
I didn't know when I grew that gun.
Yeah, it's not so much like a erectile dysfunction thing. It's more of a stamina thing to give you the constitution to for a vigorous night out on the town. It's not so much for the workers; it's for their clients. As if they can like put it in their drink at some point. It helps them feel like they're big macho men, and they're more likely to come back and be regular clients.
Gotcha.
But effectively, it's just, if you drink it, it will just cast a false life on you, which is a chunk of temporary hit points in case you want to steal it.
Well, that makes sense. They nab it, put it down. And I go over to where the evocation magic was said to be hidden inside the. Is the barrel like sealed with nails?
No, it's a loose top. You just take it right off, and you realize that why the accessibility is there, and you see about 12 bullets, and they are magically infused. So in this world, this is kind of a sidebar. There's chemical pistols, and they are adequate, available. They have a nasty habit of exploding in your hand, and can misfire. But these are magically infused runic bullets, and they don't have any of those negative properties.
Can't blame a woman.
I guess what I'm saying is they're for high-end revolvers.
Yeah. Can't blame a woman of the road for trying to protect herself. I put the top back on. Can I just do like a general investigation check of this wagon?
Yeah, go ahead. Ed, what are you doing during all this?
My God.
So while they're kind of doing that,
You're cutting out. I think your mic's too far away.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've grabbed a bucket full of water and walked over to our lizard and poured a little bit in its trough before going over to where Mary is. And I kind of offer the bucket, setting it before her and patting her on the neck, kind of making small conversation as if I'm, talking to my own steed or what have you. Go on now, drink up. It'll be good for you. I'll pat her twice on the neck.
It's grateful for the attention and the water, and drinks deeply.
I'm trying to stand in a way to like obscure Al's approach in the beginning, and as well as that, every time I'm kind of keeping up that low talk in her ear to kind of hinder her hearing.
You're okay. So you're trying to distract the ox.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and roll performance.
Teamwork.
-3. That'd be a 14.
14.
Yep.
Okay. So sloshing in water and your voice, not to mention Al's particularly small size, you can kind of glance out of the corner of your eye as he creeps around, not making a noise, and deftly slips into the back of the wagon, unobserved by the ox.
Yeah, I think I've actually got to get going, but I think that's going to be most of what he's going to do for the rest of the evening. Is kind of like continue on with the plan that they were doing, keep the ox distracted, and allow them to do what they need to do.
Okay. Yeah, we can wrap it up here with Al kind of rummaging through it, trying to find clues, and Whistling Joe nearby. And Nyx juggling the situation as best she can. And
Nyx will have gone back to the fire to just sit there and also just keeping an eye out between everything to make sure that she doesn't need to jump in.
Okay.
I love rattlesnakes.
What'd you guys think of this session versus last time?
This was great.
Yeah.
I didn't actually get to listen to last session. I don't know what was wrong with my link, but it wouldn't go through. Don't know if it was. I think technologically I've been cursed this week, so
I'll check it and make
still
sure it's
working
working
through all of that. But I'll give it a listen if I can get it figured out.
Okay. So I'll take this session. I will edit it down to the story stuff and kind of keep building on that. Any comments? I do know that Neon has some time. He wants to start earlier. So does that work for all you? If you could start, 2 hours earlier? Would that be good?
Even just
I can't.
one. I mean,
yeah, I can do 1 hour earlier.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
1 hour.
All right, that sounds good.
That works.
1 hour earlier.
5 o'clock.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun, guys. I enjoyed playing with you, and I think the improv warm-up was really good.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I absolutely suck at questions, but that's cool.
No,
you won. You were there the whole time.
Yeah, but I felt like I didn't help you guys at all. I murdered you. That's not the point. The point is give and take.
Yes.
All right, I gotta get
Don't be
rolling.
afraid to fail.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Peace.
Bye.
Right,
it was
bye,
fun.
guys. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Bye.